Welcome back. We are still on a formal affair, Module 3, Topic 3, Lesson 3. This is Activity 3.2. In this activity, you're going to be looking at real world situations, so word problems, creating an equation, and then solving questions using those equations. All right, let's look at number 1. Shelly is throwing a graduation party. She is sending invitations to her friends and family. She finds a company that charges $6 for a 10-pack of personalized invitations, plus a $5 shipping fee for the entire order, no matter how many 10 packs are ordered. Shelley wants to calculate the cost of an order based on the number of packs of invitations she orders. First things first, let's annotate this. Alrighty, so take a look at my annotations. If you annotated something different, that is totally fine. But let me show you what I underlined and why. I underlined she charges $6 for a 10 pack in green. And then also notice, now I know you don't have this in your books, but I just drew a picture or I input a picture, which you can also draw a picture to help you visualize the math. I highly suggest that. So if you have not yet drawn a picture yet of a card or a pack of invitations and you've represented a 10 pack is equal to $6, then go ahead and do that now. I also underlined the $5 shipping fee in yellow. I underlined where it says she wants to calculate the cost of an order, which I know the cost of a total order, the whole order, would also represent the total. So I annotated that. And then in blue, I underlined the number of packs of invitations because her total is going to change based on how many packs she orders. So now let's answer these questions. Let's look at 1A. It says define variables for the two quantities that are changing in this scenario. In other words, based off of those four variables, not variables, those four quantities that we underlined and highlighted in our annotations, which two of those are changing based on Shelley's order? 1B says write an equation that represents the total cost of any order based on the number of packs of invitations. And then 1C says use your equation to determine how many packs of invitations are ordered if the total is $53. What about if the total is $29? So we're going to be identifying the variables, taking those variables, writing an equation, and then using that equation to solve. If you're confident that you can solve this on your own, I want you to go ahead and attempt that for about 3-4 minutes and pause here. Alrighty, we're now about to go over this problem together. For 1A, the variables that are changing, are the total and the number of packs that Shelley orders. So T for total and N for number of packs. You could have also done C for cost or P for packs. Does not matter. For 1B, here is the equation that you should have wrote. So T for our total is determined by $6 times N, because $6 is the cost for each pack, plus the $5 shipping fee. Also notice I've color-coded each of those terms so that you can easily see where I'm getting those numbers from and why I've put them there. If you have questions, try to ask a neighbor. Alrighty, moving on to 1C. Now here we're determining the number of packs, so the N, when our total is $53 and $29. Where do you think I would replace that 53 and that 29 in my equation? Which term do you think I would replace those numbers with? Think about that for a second. If you said T for the total, you're absolutely correct. All you're doing is plugging in 53 in for T and 29 in for T, and then you're solving for N. And here is my work. On the left side, you can see I solved for the, how do I move this? There we go. I solved if the total was 53, and I found that when I subtracted 5 from both sides, then divided by 6, that meant that that she paid for 8 packs. Then on the right side, I did the same thing. I subtracted both sides by 5 and then divided by 6 and found that she had ordered 4 packs to give her a total of $29. If you need a second to get this work down, go ahead and pause here. Now in your books, you have an example of how to write an equation from a word problem, defining those variables, and then solving using that equation that you created. So if you need help solving the next few questions, make sure you reference question number 1 in your notes. Now at this time, I want us to take a look at question numbers 2, 3, and 4, because these you will be solving on your own or with a partner. Number 2, it says Pete's Gym charges a one-time fee of $29.99 for new members to join the gym. They charge a monthly rate of $25 for unlimited access to gym equipment and classes. Part A says define the variables for the two quantities that are changing in this scenario. B, write an equation that represents the total cost for a membership to Pete's Gym. And C, use your equation to determine the total cost for 1 year's membership, not 1 month, 1 year. So think about how many months are in a year. Here are some of my annotations to help you get started if you'd like to copy. Question number 3 says Felicia's pet grooming charges $15 for each dog washed and groomed on the weekend. The cost of the dog shampoo and grooming materials for a weekend's worth of grooming is $23.76. Notice I also underlined the costs and materials and the amount because those are all related. That $23.76 is the cost of the materials. That's important. Felicia is interested in her weekend profits. So again, in 3A, you're defining the variables that are changing in this scenario. 3B, you're writing an equation that represents the total profits based on the number of dogs groomed. And then C, you're using your equation to determine how many dogs Felicia groomed if her profits were $261.24. Pause here if you need these notes. And number 4, Frankie works as a pet sitter all week long, but he is more in demand on some days than others. He posts his rates as $12 per visit plus a surcharge, which depends on the day. Now in this, I went ahead and underlined his rate was $12 per visit plus a surcharge, which is an additional charge. On his busiest days, Frankie can serve 8 houses for pet sitting. He is interested in his daily profits. So for 4A, you're defining the variables again that are changing in this scenario. So what can be different from case to case on the different days. And 4B, you're writing an equation that represents the maximum total profits based on the surcharge for that day. So remember, his maximum profits comes from his busiest days, which we underlined, which was a max of 8 houses for pet sitting. Now, in B, it also says to write your equation in the form A times X plus B is equal to C. If you're unfamiliar with this form, it is okay. I still want you to try in the time that you're working, but when we go over it, you'll be able to see exactly how that looks. And then also for C and for D. For C, you're determining if Beverly or Sean is correct, who is right. You can read it on your own. And then D says determine the Saturday surcharge By solving the equation you wrote in part B, what is the total fee Frankie charges for pet sitting on a Saturday? So at this time, you're starting with question number 2, going on to 2, 3, and 4 on your own or with a partner. Set a timer for about 20 to 25 minutes to give yourself plenty of time to think and work. Alrighty, at this time, pause here. Alrighty, now that you've had plenty of time to work, let's go over these questions. Starting with number 2, go ahead and compare my work to yours. Oh, so sorry. Notice what I highlighted. Notice the variables that are changing is the total costs and the months. The equation is T is equal to $29.99 plus 25 times M because that is the rate per month. And then in C, we used our equation, plugging in 12 months into the equation to get a total of $329.99. And notice how I showed all of my work. This is the expectation. Pause here if you need to go ahead and get these notes down. Alrighty, moving on to question number 3. Go ahead and compare my work to yours. The variables that are changing here are the total profits. So I put P for profits. You can also put T for total. And then each dog. So D for dogs. The equation that I wrote, P, profits, is equal to 15 times each dog, because 15 was the cost per dog, minus $23.76. Think for a second, why do you think I subtracted $23.76? Reason being is because that was the cost of the materials. So she was in the negatives, being that she had to pay for materials first in order to then start her business. So that's why you subtracted, because that was the cost for Felicia. And then in C, I use that equation to see that 19 dogs were groomed and she made a $261.24 profit. Go ahead and take a second, get these notes down if you have not already. Pause here. Alrighty, moving on to question number 4. Go ahead and take a look at my notes. For A, the daily profit is in orange, P for profit, H for each house is in blue because Frankie goes to the houses to then pet sit. The equation for one house would be P is equal to H times 12 plus S in parentheses, because each house is a $12 charge per visit plus a surcharge for each house he goes to. The maximum profit he can earn is from 8 houses, so I replace that 8 in that equation for H. Alrighty, moving on to 4C. For 4C, you determine if Beverly or Sean were correct with their solving. The answer is they are both correct. In the last activity, you saw how when solving an equation, you can start with addition and subtraction first, or you can start with multiplication and addition. So Beverly and Sean are both correct in their solving. And in part D, using that total profit of $142, you were to place it in your equation to figure out what the surcharge fee is. You should have gotten, and here's my work shown. I divided both sides by 8. I got $17.75 is equal to 12 plus S for the surcharge. And then I subtracted 12 from both sides to find that $5.75 is the surcharge that Frankie charges. If you need a second to get these notes down, go ahead and pause here. If you are complete and done with, sorry about that, clearly I'm at work, but if you are completely done with this problem and this activity, I'll see you in the next video. Awesome job. Give yourself a big old smiley face on your work and continue the hard work. You got it. Okay, bye.